Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are just going to get started in a couple minutes. If you could let us know in the chat that you can see us, that would be great. Just want to make sure all of our technology is working okay. Yay! I love it when it works right. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, Teresa. It's good to see you. Good to see all the names. We appreciate it. Miracles, Mike. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. I hope we get to catch up after this. We literally are down the street from each other and we have not connected in quite a while. So it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll give it just another second and then we'll go ahead and get started with the webinar. One thing I want to mention is you've enrolled in or registered for a webinar series. So there's actually 4. This is the first of 4. We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are that we're going to hopefully be together every Tuesday in the month of October to learn a little bit more about Pace My Day. So we're really excited about this. Okay, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get started. We don't want to take too long to let people show up. Let me just check our numbers to see how we're doing. Okay, good. So my name is Michelle Wild, and you have joined us for Maximize Your Use of Pace My Day. It's a webinar series, again, 4-part webinar series. And today we're going to get started with Pace My Day and increase your self-awareness. I am Michelle Wild. Some of you know me, and some of you may not know me personally, but it's so great to have everyone here. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a co-founder of Best with Michelle, and we wanted to create an organization that would help people living with cognitive challenge and increase their productivity and gain their independence. So now that you know a little bit about us, we would like to know a little bit about you. There's an online poll just below us on the computer screen. In addition, you'll notice there's a question tab where you can post any questions you might have as we go through the webinar. You can also use the chat, as some of you have found during the webinar, for general comments. Let's get started.
Yeah, so take just a second to go down to the poll, and you'll see basically we're just asking a little bit about your background. So if you're a brain injury survivor, if you're a professional of some kind, if you're living with some kind of cognitive condition other than a diagnosed brain injury, we would love to learn a little bit about who has been joining us or who's planning on joining us for the next few weeks. So thank you. Take your time to take the poll. Not a problem. Hopefully you'll find it okay, and we will go ahead and move on. Also, one other thing about the questions, I wanted to emphasize that if you put your questions in that question tab rather than in the chat, at the end of the webinar, and I'll try and keep an eye on it as we move forward, but at the end of the webinar, I'll actually go to that section and I will make sure that every single question gets answered. It's a little bit easier to keep track of it as it relates to trying to find past questions in the chat. So that's why we're using that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. So we are absolutely ecstatic about the kickoff of our very first Best Suite campaign. What we're going to do is each month, over the next several months, we're going to highlight one of the components of the Best Suite. If you're familiar at all with the Best Suite, it has a variety of components to it. And so this month, we're going to focus on Pace My Day. Each component basically deals with executive dysfunction kinds of issues. We have energy and fatigue management, goal setting, strategy, development and tracking, and then also just basic task management. All the apps, though, have a twist that relates to individuals and can help individuals with cognitive challenges. One of the things that's important to know about the Best Suite is that it's relatively simple. We've made a lot of efforts to make the user interface from one app to the next app very similar. So it makes it simple to go from one app to another. The Best Suite is affordable, hopefully, right now during all the COVID craziness. It's $9.99, and you get all of the components for that $9.99. At some point in time, we'll go back to our normal price, which is $14.99. It's also innovative in that what we've done is we've taken a variety of issues associated with executive function, and we've put them into an app that has multiple components to it. and they all talk to each other, which is pretty cool. So you can put information in one of the components of the Best Suite, and that very same information may be relevant to some other component, and so it shares information, which can be very, very helpful. It's also practical. What we mean by practical is it works on your phone, so you have it when you need it in the moment, and that makes it very efficient and very helpful. You can also put it on an iPad if you want, so if you prefer to use iPads, that's all good too. And probably most importantly of all, it's been created with the suggestions and the feedback from individuals actually living with cognitive challenges. And so although I created the Best Suite back in the day, a while ago, it definitely has been informed by individuals with brain injuries and other cognitive challenges. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so powerful. Okay, so October is officially Pace My Day month. Can you believe it? And we have some great online activities planned for you. So you have enrolled in the webinar, which is great. And it's the 4-part webinar. So today we're going to be talking about some basic information about Pace My Day and about some of the settings. And then as you can see, we've got some other webinars planned. So Take Control of Your Day with Pace My Day is going to be next Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Then we have Customized Pace My Day to make it work for you, which will be the following Tuesday. And then the last Tuesday of the month, we're going to talk about increasing your insights and using Pace My Day to really help with charts and reports that it creates. You can actually share that information with doctors and therapists, that kind of thing. And it's also there for you so that you can get some insights. In addition to that, basically we have a Q&A. We did an interview with Dr. Erin Foltz. We'll talk about her in just a few minutes, but we have Q&A videos with Dr. Erin Foltz specifically designed to discuss the issue of neurofatigue. Pace My Day really addresses the concept of neurofatigue, and so we were so happy to get Dr. Foltz to agree to do an interview with us. What we've done is we've taken that interview and we've broken it up into kind of a Q&A session, and so we're going to be posting the Q&As periodically throughout the process of this particular Pace My Day month. Some of the upcoming ones, some of the ones that are actually posted on the Pace My Day month page on our website for this particular week are what is neurofatigue, neurofatigue symptoms, and anticipating neurofatigue. So if you or someone that you're working with deals with extreme bouts of low energy, neurofatigue, tiredness, etc., then we're hoping that this month is going to really help you. We also have some featured blog posts that are going to be every Monday. Next week, we're going to have a 3-part series on Pace My Day and self-regulation. So that should be interesting for some of you. And then we're going to have regular social media posts each week as we go through. We would love for you to share some of the information, some of the social media with your friends and family members, and basically get the information out to others about what we're doing for Pace My Day month. Dr. Foltz is going to be featured in those videos that we talked about. She is actually a neuropsychologist from the Cognitive Rehabilitation Department at JFK Johnson Rehab Institute in New Jersey. And she's going to be answering some of the questions that we actually posed to her. So we came up with a list of about 12 questions that we really thought would be helpful for you guys to have answers to, and Dr. Foltz was kind enough to help us out with that. So we're very excited. You can find the interviews both on the Pace My Day month page. So we're going to be featuring some of the interview question and answers there, but you can also find it on our YouTube channel, which is bestbrain.org. So we'll have all of the videos will end up on the bestbrain.org YouTube channel as we go through this process, but we'll feature the ones for each week on our Pace My Day month page. Go ahead, Christy.
Do you, or maybe somebody, you might know somebody that might be struggling with some of these problems that are listed here, constantly running out of energy and hitting a wall, or feeling frustrated because you don't understand why your energy changes from day to day, or didn't know that pain or emotions can cause your fatigue, forget strategies, or can't remember information that's helpful to complete a task. You don't remember what tasks you've done, or that you have trouble remembering when to do a task. As a survivor of a brain injury, I personally have struggled with many of these problems before I started using Pace My Day.
A lot of people deal with these problems, and so I'm glad that you shared some of them with our audience, Christy. Thanks. Basically, Pace My Day can help you recognize neurofatigue and manage your energy levels. It can also help you learn to self-regulate, and we found that it actually helps quite effectively in the development of self-awareness and insight. Dr. Folt shared in her What is Neurofatigue Q&A video that neurofatigue is actually mental exhaustion. It results from prolonged activity, but it can also come from sensory overload like lights or sounds. Neurofatigue is something that can sort of wipe you off your feet in an instant. And so one of the things that we want to do is share with you how we think, hopefully, Pace My Day can help you out. Another thing that you might want to know is that neurofatigue is often more noticeable after a brain injury, and it may require a longer period of time to sort of bounce back from the fatigue that you feel. So the question is, how does this definition relate to our webinar series? Well, our focus for this webinar is to provide an overview of the Pace My Day component of the BEST suite, which is specifically designed to help you manage neurofatigue. In addition, we're going to explore several settings that you're going to want to consider looking at before you actually get started using the app. We also want to talk about how Pace My Day can help develop your insight or insights for you into your own energy and your fatigue issues if you're living with a brain injury or some other kind of cognitive condition. I will mention that one of the things that Dr. Folt says is that neurofatigue is not unique to brain injury or to cognitive conditions. We all deal with neurofatigue. It's just how we're able to deal with it and that bounce back time that is different potentially.
I remember being told shortly after my brain injury that I would not have a mental reserve. You might be asking, what is a mental reserve? It's the stuff you use when you pulled all-nighters to study when you were in high school or college. When a person suffers a brain injury, they've used up all their energy, their mind will shut down, and this is called neurofatigue. Pace My Day can help you recognize neurofatigue. Dr. Foltz suggested in one of the featured videos this week that there are two important questions to ask. How much fuel do you have, and how far do you need to drive? Meaning, how much do you feel that you need to do? Pace My Day helps you answer these questions. You'll learn several of the features of Pace My Day will help you identify your level of energy as you start your day and as you begin working on tasks throughout the day.
That's great. Are y'all still with us? Can you give me a thumbs up if you're still here? Just want to make sure we haven't lost anybody. Can y'all still hear us? Yay. Okay, good. All right. So one of the things that Pace My Day can help you with is to learn to self-regulate. It's actually designed specifically to help with self-regulation. I used self-regulation as sort of a foundation as I was sort of putting together the concept and the idea of Pace My Day. In fact, every app within the BEST suite was designed to address self-regulation. So you're going to see that in the blog post next week and for the next 3 weeks is that idea of how Pace My Day actually integrates the concept of self-regulation into the app itself. And if you're not familiar with self-regulation involves planning out your day, knowing what you're going to do, being very mindful of that. It also has to do with monitoring. How am I doing throughout the day? How's my energy? How am I feeling? If you try to push through too much, you can crash and burn. And that's one of the things that Dr. Foltz says in some of the Q&As that we have. As you're monitoring how you're feeling, you need to be aware of that, be mindful, and then act accordingly. So the next step would be to actually evaluate. How did I end up? How was my progress on that particular task? How am I feeling? And then you can go in and you can plan and modify your plans based on this cycle of self-regulation. That becomes a really important aspect of all of this. Pace My Day, as part of the planning phase, Pace My Day actually encourages you to plan your day the night before rather than the day of. And the reason for this is because often what happens is individuals plan for tomorrow based on how they felt today. And that can be problematic. If I had a really good day today and I'm all energized, and then I plan out tomorrow based on how I feel today, and I didn't get a lot of sleep, my dog woke me up a bunch of times, I didn't feel well, I have a headache. When I look at my schedule for tomorrow, I get totally overwhelmed, and that can cause even more neurofatigue. So we want to be very mindful of this idea of self-regulation. In addition, as we said, it helps you monitor your activities and your energy level throughout the day. So we not only plan our day, but we also monitor throughout the day. And Pace My Day has some interesting features built into it that help you do that. You'll learn about a lot of those features next week in our webinar. Today, we're going to talk about how to actually set some of those features up so that they're there for you when you're ready to jump into Pace My Day.
Pace My Day can help you develop awareness and insights, like Michelle was talking about, in regard to your daily activities. For example, plan your day based on the energy that you have. You'll have a deeper understanding that you have different levels of energy. You'll know when and what breaks to take that will rejuvenate your energy. You'll experience the benefits of including notes of strategies to use when working on a task. You'll have a better awareness of which activities may trigger you either physically or mentally.
Very good. So you might be wondering who benefits from the Best Suite. Pace My Day, of course, is one of those components. This kind of gives you an idea. Individuals with brain injury, chronic fatigue syndrome, chemo brain, even individuals with multiple sclerosis and post-traumatic stress have benefited from the apps within the Best Suite. You might also be wondering, oops, something just happened. Sorry about that. Let me bring this back. I hit the wrong button. There we go. You may also be wondering who recommends the Best Suite? What kinds of professionals? So I was just looking at the poll. It looks like there's a couple of professionals with us today and several individual survivors. So that's great. Thank you again for joining us. Some of the types of professionals might be occupational therapists or life care planners, even school psychologists and case managers. Even someone like a voc rehab counselor could potentially recommend the Best Suite for clients. Not only can the Best Suite be used in a personal environment and at home, it can also be used at work and at school. So let's.
I want to add something that Pace My Day would be a great tool for professionals to use with their clients during this time of COVID. Clients can send their Pace My Day reports that contain daily details of their progress, of successes and challenges to their therapists and doctors.
That's a great suggestion. One of the things that we're going to talk about later on in the month in one of the webinars is our new dashboard, which we're very excited about. And that's a very easy way for you to share information with potentially professionals, doctors, and different types of therapists. So be ready to learn more about that. Let's take a look at some of the setup of Pace My Day. So there's actually two different areas. There's general settings for the Best Suite as a whole, and then there are some individual settings within Pace My Day. We're going to take a look at the general settings for the Best Suite, which specifically relate to Pace My Day, and will make it more effective and more efficient for you. So if you see our little example here, we've got our home screen, and you'll see that there are little cogs here. This is our settings. So if you click on or if you tap on the settings, you're going to see there's a lot of different settings there. We're not going to talk about all of them today. We're just talking about those settings that are relevant for you as you begin to use the Pace My Day app. So the first one is going to be alert sounds. And basically you can customize the alert sounds to fit sort of your lifestyle and to address your particular needs. One thing that I will mention is that the alert sound for Pace My Day has been designed specifically for us. It's a guitar lick, and we did this particularly because we wanted people to know that we're using the Best Suite, that this reminder was coming from the Best Suite and not just some other app that you may or may not know where that information or where that reminder is coming from. So when you hear our very unique guitar lick, you'll know that that is Pace My Day or the Best Suite in general reaching out to you, telling you that you've set a reminder and that it's here to alert you. You'll notice that we have several different settings here. One is vibrate. That's going to be specifically for those of you that use iPhones. And so that will just allow the app to vibrate your phone. You can also have a short guitar lick. You can have a long guitar lick, which is sort of the default setting. You can also have a soft one, meaning that it's by what we've done is we've actually softened the volume of that particular sound. And we also have one that's 30 seconds in length. When I mentioned that it allows you to fit your lifestyle and to address your needs, you may be in a situation where you need it to be very soft because you don't want it to disturb others, or you want it to vibrate so that you don't disturb others. That's something that you can do very easily here. The one thing that you're going to want to remember is that this is something that you can change at will. So if you go from one environment to another environment, you can just simply go into the settings and make the adjustment accordingly. If you tap on these, it should actually give you an idea of what that sound sounds like and the length. Christy, I think you had something to say about this.
I originally had the sound turned on for a short duration, but I had to change the timing to play the notification for a little bit longer time because I wanted the sound to continue till I took action.
Yep, that's very true. I know of a lot of people who sit their phones down and then they start working on something. And if they aren't nearby when the sound goes off, they miss that reminder. I see that Pam is asking a question. Can you have both vibrate and sound on? In general, at this point in time, no. You would have to choose one or the other, but that's definitely something that we consider adding as we move forward. I don't know why we didn't think about that until now anyway. So thanks, Pam, for the great idea. Another setting that we have is motivation. Now, this is a new setting that we have. It helps you feel good about your progress, and we've created what we're calling your new best friend for encouragement. So this little guy, this little purple guy here, is what we call your new best friend. And basically, he will pop up with words of encouragement and motivation as you use any of the apps within the suite. And so what you'll see here in terms of the setting is you can have minimal, which is about 10% of the time you'll get your little best friend popping up. Limited is about 30 to 40% of the time you'll get that motivational and that incentive. Periodic is about 50 to 60, 65% of the time. And then constant is pretty much on a regular basis as you do things, your new best friend is going to pop up. I was a little bit hesitant. We have a kids version of the best suite. We have a kid mode that we're not going to talk about today, but we did the new best friend thing specifically for kid mode. And it was so funny because I wasn't sure I would want it. And I got to tell you, every time this guy pops up, he just makes me smile. So I think it's actually good for us adults too. All right. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the wake up questionnaire. And the wake up questionnaire allows you to customize wake up questions. And what this is going to do is this is going to help you develop insight. And it's also information that you can share email with your doctor, or you can share it through our new dashboard as well. I'm not going to go through all the questions with you, but what you'll see here on the screen is that you can say whether or not you want this question to be asked or whether you don't want it to be asked. So we have a yes and a no option. As you read through these questions, you will want to decide which questions you feel are appropriate for you, or your doctor may go through these questions with you and help you decide which ones he or she cares most about seeing. These questions are very standard sleep questions. They were provided to us in conjunction with a sleep doctor. So these are very typical questions and can be quite helpful. Not only are they helpful for your doctor, they can be very insightful for you as well. Christy, I know you have something to say about this.
There are many days that my answers to the question of how I feel do not match what my smartwatch tells me. I might feel I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, but my watch tells me that I did.
That's a great example. So I have an Apple Watch too. I know some people have CPAP machines that you need for sleep apnea and that kind of thing. So we've actually had people ask us the question of, why do I need this? Why do I have to answer these questions when I'm actually getting data from a reliable device? And the answer to that is the answer to these questions are coming from you. This is your perception of your sleep and of how many times you got up. that kind of thing. And so this can actually be quite informative for you. If you take a look at how you think you slept versus how you actually slept, as Christy just illustrated, it can be quite different. And that in and of itself can be very helpful for your doctor. We also have bedtime questionnaires. This is designed for you to take sort of as part of your evening routine. Before you go to bed, you kind of look at some of these questions. Again, they're yes or no. They're either turned on or turned off. You'll notice here, I've turned off some of these questions. If you don't drink alcoholic beverages, you would turn this off. There's no reason for you to need to answer questions that aren't relevant for you. So we really want you to go in and to customize these questions so that they're appropriate for you as you use the app.
I find that going through the bedtime question helps me evaluate my day. There's some questions that don't pertain to me, so I've turned them off.
Very good. Yeah. The last setting that we're going to talk about is actually within Pace My Day itself. And this is the pre-post task questions. So you'll notice at this point, I have an image here. I'm actually in Pace My Day, and I've tapped on the three little lines here, which is sort of the menu or the more option. And once I've opened that up, I can see I have a settings option here. And again, there may be more settings that we're not going to talk about. That doesn't mean that you can't go in and play around with them, but we really wanted to focus on getting you started and getting you prepared to use Pace My Day in a very effective way. So these pre-post task questions are extremely important. They're questions that relate to your mood and your level of pain and your anxiety. So they're not only emotional issues, but they're also physical issues that or struggles that you may be dealing with. And so to begin with, all 7 scales are turned on. And so you would answer these questions at the beginning and at the end of every single task that you do. Now, I know that, in some cases, maybe you don't experience pain, so you would turn that particular scale off. Again, we don't want you being frustrated with our app because you're being forced to answer a question that really isn't relevant to you. So it's really important before you actually dive into the app itself for you to get these things, get these settings squared away so that you can jump in. Christy, I know you had something to share here too.
When I first started using Pace My Day, I did not turn off any of the pre or post questions. And after a few months, I did eventually turn off some of the questions. But then I realized that my emotions affected my energy. So I turned mood back on. And there have been a few times that I've hurt my neck or my foot that have caused me pain. So then I turned on pain. It's really nice to have the option of turning these questions on and off, because as our lives continue to change, we can continue to change the app towards our needs.
That's great. Very good suggestion. And I find that that's true of lots of people, Christy, not just you. So thanks for sharing that. Okay, so you're probably wondering, okay, so what are my next steps? Again, this is the first webinar, so we have 3 more left. Really what we wanted you to do today is we wanted you to focus on these settings. If you have the best suite, go into the best suite and play around with the alert sounds. Look at the motivation. Check out those wake up and those bedtime questionnaires and make sure that they're customized to you and your needs. You may even, again, want to check with a therapist or with a doctor in order to find out which questions would be most appropriate for you. Turn the other ones off. There's no reason for you to have to worry about those. The other thing that we wanted to talk about was to really get you squared away within Pace My Day. So by going in and turning on or off those pre and post task questions, this is going to be something that will really benefit you. And it sort of leads us into what we're going to be talking about next week. I will make one other quick example about the Pace My Day pre and post task questions. I have a student, I'm a teacher, and I have a student that at one point in time said, okay, these questions are driving me crazy. And I said, well, you can turn them on or off. And her response back was, well, I don't know if I really want to do that, because I didn't realize that my mood changed every time I helped my kid work on his homework. But by using Pace My Day, I can see that tendency and those patterns emerge. So she actually opted not to turn off all of the scales, or the scales that she might have thought didn't apply to her, because as a matter of fact, she could figure out that they actually might apply to her. So this is one way in which we're developing some insights and some self-awareness. What about Pace My Day month, Christy?
The next step is to stay in touch and be informed. You can do this by visiting our website, bestconnections.org. Watch feature questions and answer videos with Erin Foltz. And we update these videos weekly. They'll change every week. Check out our social media posts and YouTube videos at bestbrain.org, and join us again next Tuesday for our webinar, Take Control of Your Day with Pace My Day.
Perfect. And then the third step, the third action for you to take this week, hopefully, is to go to our free online Pace My Day training, which is at learn.bestconnections.org. If you go there, you can sign up for our Pace My Day training for free. And basically what you're going to learn in that class is the mechanics of using Pace My Day. So it's going to tell you tap here and tap there and do this. The webinars for this particular month are a little bit different. Our focus in these webinars is to really give you a background about why doing those kinds of things is important and how those kinds of things can help you. Okay? So at this point, what I'd like to do is take a look at some of the questions. I saw there was a couple questions here. Good. So Teresa is asking, regarding self-regulation, what kind of tricks have you seen work with folks as they try to build a schedule of events, of evaluating their energy or checking in with themselves? That's such a great question, and I'll answer a little bit right now, but next week's webinar is going to be all about this particular topic. So I will encourage you to join us again next week. One of the things that we do in Pace My Day is we have individuals rate how much energy they believe a task requires of them. And so we have little light bulbs, and we have full light bulbs, and we have half full light bulbs, and we have empty light bulbs, and then we have a question mark. And so what's really cool is as people plan their day, they are able to see how many high energy tasks, medium energy tasks, and low energy tasks are required, that they're kind of setting themselves up for. So what's really cool is we did a research study with some veterans, and at the end of this study, I had one of the veterans, we were doing like a closeout interview, and the veteran said, you know, Michelle, I'm not sure if you know this, but just seeing that I had a lot of high energy tasks that day made me really rethink my schedule, and I was able to really get a handle on some of my fatigue. And I love that because, of course, that's exactly what we wanted them to do, but it's never something that we explicitly say. And so I think that by having those light bulbs and by being able to see how much energy each task takes, it allows you to sort of better prepare. You can also reorder your tasks. So if you have 3 or 4 high energy tasks in a row, let's say, or even 1 or 2 high energy tasks in a row, you can actually reorder those tasks so that you're doing a high energy task and then a medium energy task and then a low energy task, etc. And as professionals, this is really important for us to help those individuals that might be using the app that are dealing with some kind of cognitive challenge, to help them better understand what this is all about and why this particular thing is important. But I can tell you from my own personal experience with working with a veteran and many other people, it's just so satisfying to hear people say, wow, you know what? Just realizing how much energy something took helped me realize that I better rethink sort of my agenda for the day. I don't know if that helps, Teresa. If you'd respond, that would be great. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. How secure is Best? That's a great question. So Best remains on the end user's phone or device. We do sync information. You can choose not to sync information if you don't want. So that's one thing. In the settings, you can actually choose to not have information sync with the cloud or sync with other devices. So that would obviously be the most secure way of doing it. One of the things that happens, we do have an online server, and so that server is very secure, and the information is potentially transferred through the cloud. So, but it is a very secure system. The other thing that I'll mention is for the dashboard, which is how, Pam, in your particular case, you might have an individual that you're working with share his or her information with you via our online dashboard. So one thing they could do is they could just email you reports, which is not a big deal, but it can be cumbersome and they can forget and that kind of thing. They may not send you all the information that you're looking for. Our new dashboard that we've created is pretty cool. One of the things that we've done is we've set it up in such a way where there's 2 or 3 different buy-ins, if you will, that the end user has to do in order for you to be able to see their data. So just very quickly, basically you as a professional would request from us access to the dashboard. We would then vet you based on your email address and information that you provide to us. Once you're vetted, you would then be invited to generate a QR code, and that QR code is unique to you. No one else will have that same code. Your individual that you're working with, your student or your client, then would scan your particular QR code, and that would allow him or her to then approve you to see his or her information. So again, there's several different ways of trying to make sure that the data is secure. And then once you're in the dashboard, you're able to see their information. And we'll talk more about that in the final webinar of the series at the end of the month. But it's a pretty cool system, and I think that you'll find it very interesting. We'll actually do a quick demo for you in that particular webinar. So if you have any other questions, I see one thing is there a free trial for Pace My Day? Unfortunately, we don't have a free trial. When we first started this, I first started Pace My Day about 8 years ago or more now. And back then, we didn't have a free trial, and we've kept adding on to it. It eventually merged into the Best Suite. And at this point in time, there's really no way for us to kind of go back and to create a free trial without it being a pretty significant deal in general and financially as well. So unfortunately, we don't. We do, though, again, have a relatively low price point because our intention is to try and help people that need the app get it as easily and as economically as possible. So right now during COVID, the entire Best Suite, which has a ton of different things, all of which we talked about today, and we're going to be talking about for the next few months in terms of our campaign, you can get for $9.99. So we hope that that will be helpful for you. If also you have any younger, let's say 17 to 21, 22, 23-year-olds that you might be working with, we have a partnership right now with another organization. There's an application process, but you can have a person fill out an application for a scholarship, which would give that individual the app for free, our training for free, and then I would actually coach them on the use of the apps as well. So if you have questions about that, or if you're interested in that, just send me a quick email and I'd be happy to send you information about that particular partnership that we have.
One of the things I wanted to add that sometimes Michelle adds that for those that are kind of interested in just seeing a little bit more of what the app does, you could go on to our learnbestconnections.org, and the class for Pace My Day will help. You will see some videos as to how it's helped people, but you'll also see the mechanics part of Pace My Day. So that can give you kind of another way of viewing it overall, what its capabilities are.
Great suggestion. Pam, I see your comment also about effective compared to other reminder systems. One of the interesting things about our particular app is that we have all these different components. So we have Pace My Day, we have Reach My Goals, Strategize My Life, Complete My To-Dos. We have a brand new checklist app that we're very excited that we're going to be launching very soon. And one of the things that's important about that is that we have a reminder system that wraps around all of those. And so one of the potential struggles that people have is that you have to use so many different apps and they each have their own reminder system, and it works in different ways on different apps. And so by using the Best Suite, you can actually see a list of all the reminders for each one of the individual components, but you can also see all the reminders across all the components. So it's just another way in which we have kind of come up with to deal with some of the challenges that we know individuals with cognitive issues deal with on a regular basis.
One thing I wanted to add with the reminders is that is unique and special to the Best Suite. The reminders, as you set it up, include a, a place where you can add a little bit more note to the reminder. So it
Mhm.
gives you a specific um, memory, as it'll trigger a memory as to specifically what you need to do. It's not just call the doctor, but it's call the doctor, and you can put a note saying about, I want to get the test results type of thing. So not only do you get call the doctor, but you also get what it is that you're calling him about, and that's really helpful.
That's great, Christy. I'm so glad you mentioned that. I forgot, but that definitely is something very unique about our Best Suite product. Therese also says, as you grow this wonderful Pace My Day Best Suite product, where are you seeing most growth? Just curious to know how quickly these apps and strategies are being widely used. So that's a really great question. And part of what we've been doing is we've been trying to get it out into rehab facilities, into some of the VAs. Mostly individuals that are using it are end users. What we would love is to find some professionals that believe in the app, can see the benefits of the app, and have them also make some recommendations. We have the kids mode now, and so we're looking at expanding into probably fourth, fifth grade on up. We worked with a school district up in Medford, Oregon, specifically to help us with that. And so the Best Suite has some features in it that are designed to help kids that may be enrolled in some special needs classes in the K through 12 area as well. So we're doing what we can to try and get the word out. And again, we're very excited about our campaign that we've just started. I'll say one other thing, and then we're almost at our time limit. I started working on all of this about 9 or 10 years ago, and I did it alone for a number of years. And so I wasn't able to get a whole lot of traction because I was doing it by myself. Then Christy and I started working together. We created Best, which is a nonprofit. And over the last 4.5 years of working at Best, we've really expanded what people know about Best and about the suite and the trainings that we've created. And so we've really grown a lot there. And now we actually have a team, a working group that we've established, all of which are individuals living with brain injury that are volunteering their time and their expertise to help Best out. And so we're so excited about the next year in terms of what the directions are that we're going, because we now have an amazing team built up to really help make this grow and to become something way beyond what I ever thought it could become. So we're very excited about that. Let's see. And with this, let's see. Christy, there's a thing here. How much more productive did your life seem as you began to master the Best Suites? Did it change how you feel emotionally? Such an incredible accomplishment to have created and learned to use this program successfully. So inspiring.
The insights that it provides, it was interesting that over probably a year, I didn't realize that I was triggered emotionally by emotions that would cause my fatigue. I also, one of the things that we haven't talked about, and we'll talk about later in next week, but when you start a task, there's a part where it will say, what do you feel your energy level is? And one of the things that helped me realize that after a long use of it, I kept referring and wanting my high energy. There's a high energy, there's 5 grades of energy that we have within the app. And I kept saying that, I don't have high energy, because I kept comparing, like many of us brain survivors do. We keep comparing to what we used to have or be able to do. And so for a long time, I kept saying that I didn't have high energy. And I finally realized that I never tapped that I had high energy. And I had to sit back and say, you know what? I have to reevaluate what high energy is. I do have higher energy on certain days than I do on others. And so I was able to change my way of thinking and not have to compare what I used to be able to do to come to what I do now. Yes, there are days where I don't have a whole lot of energy to start with, but there are days where I have a ton of energy to start with. And yes, it's not at the same caliber, but I have now pushed that old part away. And now I have a new understanding what high energy is for me.
That's great. So one of the things that we're going to do over the next 3 weeks, in the next 3 webinars, is we'll be sharing more. Christy will be sharing more personal experiences and more insights she's gotten as she's learned to use the app and has integrated the app into her everyday life. We're going to give you some background information. Again, not the mechanics, but we're going to hopefully help you understand why we did what we did and how what we did applies directly to individuals with cognitive challenges and what they can get out of their experiences in using the app. So that's all coming up. I will leave you with this. This is not the same Christy, by the way, but I have a student who just the other day said that her motto for Pace My Day is I like to check myself before I wreck myself, and Pace My Day helps her do that. So I just thought that was really, really good. We will see you hopefully next Tuesday for part 2. It's Take Control of Your Day with Pace My Day. And next week will be a lot of actually getting into the app itself. And again, showing you some of the reasons why and explaining some of the decisions we made about the features of the app. So if you have any other questions, we're happy to stick around a little bit longer. If not, we certainly hope that we will see you next week. Looks like everyone is good. Well, thank you again so much for attending. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed today, please share the link with people for the upcoming webinars. Even though it's a series, they can sign up at any point in time. We would love to, to get some people that can begin getting the word out. Thanks again. Have a great day, and thanks so much for joining us.
See you next week.
Bye.